What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Mike Jeezy here, coming at you with another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the wish strips that have been out for a little bit on the JP side of the game. And this will be a top 10 countdown, essentially giving you some ideas on who and what units you should be using your wish strips on, because if you're new, it may be a little bit confusing. And this is the second time around that JP's got the wish strips, and we had something similar on Global. I don't remember if they were called wish strips or tickets or whatever. And so far, I've used two of my wish strips, and I have five sitting in my box. So I haven't used them yet. I was waiting to summon and see what units I pulled. That way, if there are any same units that are on the wish strip choices, then I wouldn't end up getting dupes. And so anyways, let's begin by talking about the best units that you can use your wish strips on. And an honorable mention goes to the Strength Super Saiyan Goku. His Extreme Z Awakened leader skill is all types, Ki plus 2, HP, attack, defense plus 50%. Basically, I put him in honorable mention because although he is a good unit, especially after he's Extreme Z Awakened, really gets overshadowed by the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And in instances where, like if you're running a movie hero team and you have the option between the AGL and the strength, you're always going to go with the AGL because he hits a little bit better, he tanks a little bit better. But he is a pretty good unit. You'll probably never use him like as a leader just because the Ki plus 2 and 50%, it's not that big of a stat boost. So there are definitely better leaders, and yeah, he's just not quite as good as the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So he comes in the honorable mention. Coming in at number 10 is AGL Tora Giant Ape. So I've never really used him that much. I haven't bothered Dokkan Awakening him, but he's going to mostly shine for his passive skill, which is all allies Ki plus 3, attack 30%, and has a small recovery. You're probably not going to really run too many other giant form allies for his HP recovery to really matter. He can turn Giant Ape, which grants you invincibility up to 2 times. His categories aren't the best. I guess the Pure Saiyans is probably the best team that he would fit in for a support unit. His leader skill is not too relevant, Ki plus 2 and 50%. And you'll be using him again mostly as a support unit. And I haven't really used him too much, but people say he's really good as a support unit, so he fits into the top 10. Coming at number 9 is Strength Family Kamehameha Goku. When he's Extreme Z Awakened, he gets AGL, Int, and Strength type, Ki plus 2, and HP attack defense 70%. And his passive, Ki plus 3 for himself, attack and defense 8 plus 80%. So he's a okay tank and damage dealer. Again, you'll probably never really use him too much as a leader, even after he's Extreme Z Awoken. He fits into a few relevant categories right now, being Super Saiyan, movie heroes, and Goku's family. Pure Saiyan is also really good. Majin Buu Saga is not played too much. He's he's good, just not the best. He does okay damage, I'd say. He has a supreme damage modifier, so he's lower, but he's still good. All these units on the top 10 are really good. It's just trying to set a hierarchy for them can be difficult. And if there are some units which you think, well, maybe this should be 5 instead of 6, there's a little bit of room for variance naturally, because it all boils down to opinion and kind of my experiences with using the units. And I can recall, like, this Goku, I've used it a little bit, not a ton, but I haven't been like overly impressed with it. But he's definitely better after he's been Z Awoken. Coming in at number 8 is AGL Golden Frieza. He's leader skill you're not really going to use too much. I don't know about AGL nuking teams or anything. And all he does is cause supreme damage, so nothing too crazy. He really shines with his passive skill. Damage received minus 90% when HP is 50% or above. So he's very similar to the Tech Golden Frieza, which isn't on the wish strips, but I mean, in any kind of extreme AGL events, like he's pretty much a staple, and as long as your HP is over 50%, he's basically gonna, take no damage. So if the attacks are all focused on him for one turn, it's basically, a free turn at that point. He fits onto several teams: Resurrected Warriors, movie bosses, Full Power, Transformation Boost, and Wicked Bloodline. I've used him, a little bit on just like an extreme AGL team for different events. He's really good at tanking, and he doesn't even have an extreme Z Awaken yet. The Tech one did get one over on the JP side a little bit ago. He still doesn't have one yet, but if he does, I mean, he's going to be really good, I would imagine. So he's coming in at number 8. And coming in at number 7 is Int Metal Cooler. He's mostly as a support type unit, attack plus 30% for all allies, and extreme class ki plus 2. So he fits, basically he's, a really good linking partner for the LR Metal Cooler that you get from the Baba Shop. You really won't use him as a leader because he only provides 20%. He's here to link up with certain units in the extreme class ki plus 2, because sometimes certain extreme teams can have struggle with ki, so he's usually there to help their situation out with that. He has a lot of good link skills for different units, and fits, I'd say, mostly into like Resurrected Warriors team. Again, they're primarily as a linking partner and the ki plus 2 support. But he's potentially getting an easy A, I think, on JP, so we'll see how he turns out. Coming in at number 6 is the Physical Gotenks. Again, he provides ki plus 3 for his leader skill. Generally won't use him as a leader. Just nowadays, providing just ki is not good, and providing just HP attack and defense boost is not good. So you need some combination. If he does get an easy A, he'll probably, have this and a stat boost, so he may be good. He's mostly here as a sealer, so he causes supreme damage and seals super attack, and he mostly fits into like the fusions team. And also Super Saiyan. He has a lot of versatility in that he seals. I remember when I was running fusions mostly, I could never pull this Gotenks, and I would sometimes go into banners just being like, yes, I want to pull the Gotenks, and it didn't matter what banner it was, as long as I knew he was like featured or something. And eventually, I think I just got him, free with like the wish strips or whatever Global had, and then I would, pull more copies. So on one account, I have him rainbowed, and he still does really good damage, and he's aged pretty well. And I would imagine, if and whenever he gets his easy A, he'll be very good. Coming in at number 5 is the Tech Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. After he's Extreme Z Awoken, his leader skill is all types ki plus 3, attack, HP, defense 40%. Generally probably won't use him ever as a leader. He's on the list because of his tanking ability. So his passive skill is ki plus 2, defense plus 120 when ki is 10 or more. So this means that if you have enough ki to super, you're going to gain 120% defense. So he tanks very well. Not on a bunch of teams, but he's on the Super Saiyan 3, Pure Saiyan Vegeta's family. So he's there as a pretty good tanking option. I think compared to the SDR one, which also tanks pretty well, he doesn't do as much damage, but he's still a really good unit and has helped tremendously by the Extreme Z Awaken. Coming at number 4 is a Strength Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. His leader skill after being awoken is Strength type ki plus 3, HP attack, defense 90. So as a mono strength leader, he's, a respectable leader, especially if you don't have like the 120 lead or like LR Beerus or something. After he's Extreme Z Awoken, he becomes like a pretty decent mono type leader. His super attack has immense damage modifier, which is the first one that we've seen from the list so far. He also has a high chance of stunning the enemy. His passive, he reduces damage by 80% for 10 turns. and attack plus 120 when the target enemy is stunned. Fits in the same categories as the previous Vegeta. And, what can I say? He's extremely woken into a good hitter, a good tank. So he's a little bit, better than the tech one, I would say. I haven't used either of them really too much because I don't, play Super Saiyan 3, or if I have to run a Mono STR type, he generally doesn't, make the cut. So I haven't used him too much, but, on paper and just, in a vacuum, he's a pretty good unit, and I would recommend using your wish strip on him. Coming in at number 3 is a Strength Family Kamehameha Goten. Not really, his leader skill is not too pertinent. He's mostly here as a support unit, as an orb changer, which he changes physical key spheres to rainbow. He also has attack and defense plus 70 for himself, and disabling rampage is not too pertinent. He shines in that he has he has 8 different categories that he fits in, and in the more prominent teams right now, which I would say is the movie heroes and Goku's family. Yeah, at least on the global side, like movie heroes, does he? Oh yeah, and siblings bond. He really pairs very well with the LR Gobros, so he's the best linking buddy for him. And he, the right now rainbow key spheres are so good, with all kinds of different units getting more key from them, that just having a orb changer that produces rainbow key spheres is really good right now. And I've used him pretty quite a bit. He's a decent tank, does good damage, and I'd highly recommend pulling for him if you don't have him already. Going in at number 2 is the physical Super Saiyan Trunks. I had a hard time deciding between this one and number 1, but I put this one at number 2, and again, there's a little bit of room for debate. Anyways, his leader skill after he's been Z awoken is all types key plus 3, attack, HP attack defense plus 70. So he provides the 3 keys, kind of the norm right now. 70% is a little bit on the lower side, but it's not terrible. And he's going to really shine for his passive skill, in that he provides key plus 2, attack and defense plus 30 for everyone, and then attack and defense plus 70% for himself when there are 2 more Vegeta's family categories on the team. So people may not know is he includes himself, so you don't need him and then 2 more Vegeta's family allies on your team. So you could just put him and 1 other, and this passive is gonna count. And his categories, he's on Hybrid Saiyans, Future Saga, Time Travelers, Vegeta's family, and Super Saiyan. I would imagine he's most relevant in the Vegeta's family and Super Saiyan once we get the Planet Namek Saga Super Saiyan Goku category leader. But he is, again, mostly here as a really good support unit. He tanks pretty well, I would say, and he does decent damage against the right types of enemies in the right events. But just his key plus 2 for everyone, and then the attack and defense is very good. And finally, coming in at number 1 is the Tech Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Again, between this one and the Trunks, I had a little bit of difficulty deciding between the 2. And I mean, it's almost kind of a coin flip. Either way, you want to have at least 1 copy of this Vegeta and the Trunks. Anyways, his leader skill is all types key plus 2, HP attack defense, and 90%. So he provides 1 less key than the Trunks, but a little bit more of a stat boost. In either case, you probably won't use them as a leader. I remember using this guy as a lead for, I forget what EZA features, it's either Future Saga or Time Travelers, I don't remember, but I ended up having to use him as a leader because I just didn't have the right leader to take on the event, but I was able to clear all 30 stages of it. I do remember that. And his passive skill, key plus 2, attack and defense 90% for himself, and then all allies attack and defense plus 30%. Similar to the Trunks when there's 2 or more. So if you just run the Trunks and this Vegeta, it's gonna be enough to proc their passive skills, and he's going to be good on the Vegeta's family, Siblings Bond, Pure Saiyans, pretty much like all these teams. That those two units are really good. They also link like amazingly well, like perfectly. So getting their supers is not going to be really an issue. And anyways, that is my top 10 list for what you can use your wish strips on. Again, just as a reminder, if you're going to summon on some banners, it's better to first summon and then use your wish strips, because you don't want to use your wish strips and then summon and get I mean, dupes aren't bad. It just when you're starting out, getting new units is always better than getting a dupe. Anyways, on JP, I mean, right now we have 7 wish strips, I believe, and I don't know if there's 2 more rounds of Porunga, or that might be it. I'm not sure. But I've used my two of my wish strips on this Vegeta and the Trunks. I already have the Goten, so I'll be choosing, the different Super Saiyan Vegetas and the Fizz tanks, etc. Oh, I was gonna mention. So most of these units really shine after they've been Extreme Z awoken. So for example, this Vegeta before his Extreme Z awakening is not really that good. Like both of these units were considered pretty subpar before their Extreme Z awakening. So if you are brand new to the game, you may this Gotenks may be your number one pick, because you have to consider he doesn't have an Extreme Z Awakening yet. So starting out, just having a sealer that's does pretty good damage, etc., may be of more value to you. Um, Again, since we have the 7 wish strips, you'll probably just end up getting him anyway. But it's just something to think about. And so that would make this Metal Cooler doesn't have an Extreme Z Awaken yet, and this Golden Frieza doesn't have a Z Awakening yet. So they may be of higher priority than the other units. It just depends if you're thinking short term or long term. If you're thinking long term, mid to late game kind of thing, then definitely I would just stick with the original, 10 through 1 list. But if you're like, well, my teams really need some help right now, and I could use the Gotenks, right now for my, fusion team or whatever, maybe of more benefit to select him as your number 1 versus like the Vegeta or Trunks. Anyway, just something to consider. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. As usual, if you leave a dislike, please provide some constructive feedback so that I can always improve. And if you have any suggestions for videos, please leave them in the comment below or send me a direct message. Thank you and have an awesome day.